Hi there. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 biggest mistakes Google Ads affiliates are making. I'm going to show you inside my ad account that spent millions of dollars. You're going to see the stats. I'm going to show you the mistakes people are making and how you can improve your conversion rates to get profitable ad campaigns as an affiliate marketer. Let's get started. Welcome to today's video. I'm going to be talking about Google Ads again as an affiliate. I've been spending a ton of time on Google Ads lately, in addition to my Facebook and TikTok campaigns. But Google Ads has really been a game changer in the last couple of years for me. And I want to talk about the top 5 mistakes. Sometimes I even make these mistakes, but I want to talk about them today in detail, showing you that I have experience with Google Ads. You're going to see some spend, some profits and stuff like that. So we're going to go in there and we're going to talk about these. So the first mistake we're going to talk about today is bid strategies and how to start a campaign, especially as affiliates where we get paid commissions for selling other people's products. So we're going to go into Google Ads, we're going to set up an ad, we're going to create a landing page, and then we're going to send traffic to that landing page. Hopefully the visitor goes there, clicks through, buys the product, and we make a huge commission, right? But when people set up their campaigns, it sounds super simple, but let's go on my computer and let's talk first about bidding strategies, okay? So bidding strategies are very important here. Here's what you're going to see inside your campaign settings. And this is just a sample campaign running it for a make money online offer. And basically, you can see here your bidding strategy. And a lot of people make the mistake of coming in here and starting with the wrong bidding strategy. For example, they might start with a campaign that has, or an account that has absolutely no data in their account. And then they try and set up a conversions campaign, but the Google Ads platform has no conversion data. So when you come in here, you can see when you select this, there's many different bidding strategies. And in this case, you can select either maximize conversions, maximize clicks, maximize conversion value, target impression share, manual cost per click. And these options all have different things going on. Now, maximize clicks is going to tell Google, I just want a bunch of clicks. And oftentimes the quality is not going to be great. If you're going to be going for clicks at first because you have no conversion data, my recommendation is using manual cost per click. This is going to get your bids active, and if you have a high bid, it's going to put you higher on the page. If you want maximize clicks, it doesn't matter what the bid is. Google's just going to give you a bunch of traffic, even sometimes at the bottom of page or even below second or third page. As long as there's a bunch of traffic left over, they're going to give it to you. And oftentimes that doesn't convert very well. So if you're starting out a campaign, oftentimes I'm going to start out with a manual cost per click or a maximize conversions. Now, sometimes some people make the mistake of coming in and setting up a maximize conversions with a target CPA that is too low. And what's going to happen there, if you set a target CPA, meaning you don't want to spend any more than, say, $24 per conversion, then oftentimes that's going to throttle your campaign, meaning it's going to not deliver a lot of traffic and it's going to slowly die out. So oftentimes, if you're going to start with a target and try and limit your spend, you're going to want to set this higher than what you're actually getting paid as a commission from the affiliate offer. Now, there's much more to this bidding strategy. I don't want to go in because I could spend a whole lesson on this, on bidding strategies. But keep in mind, when you're doing affiliate marketing, especially, or any account really, if you're not even an affiliate, you're going to want to have conversion data before you start really hammering in on a target CPA. So what I like to do is start with a maximize conversions campaign and try to get as many conversions as I can with my budget. And then at that point, I might switch it over to a target cost per action. Now, I've tested multiple different strategies, okay, over the years, and this seems to work best for me. That, and if you don't want to do that, I mean, if you want to have more manual, then I would go with manual cost per click over maximize clicks. So let's go to number 2. Okay, so the next biggest mistake people make is they don't monitor the search partners traffic. Now, every time I set up a new campaign, I am setting up a campaign to run it with the Google search and Google search partners. I'm always turning off Google Display Network. So when you're looking at your campaign stats, for example, here's in my campaign stats, and you can see here that I can segment. So I can segment by network. You can see right here. And it's going to segment your traffic. You can see here from these campaigns that I'm running that it's segmenting it to show you what I've spent on Google search. This one is profitable. You can see my Google Search Partners was not profitable, so that's why I ended up turning off Google Search Partners on this one. That's why it hasn't spent nearly as much as this campaign, okay? Here's another campaign where, again, it was breaking even, a little off on the Search Partners, so I decided to turn it off. And what you can do is you can take these Search Partners campaigns and run them in separate campaigns. So that way you can separate your budget from Google Search to run all of your budget on Google Search rather than some on Google Search Partners. If you have some budget for Google Search Partners, go ahead and pull that into another campaign if you think you might be able to optimize it and make it better for its own campaign. But that's a big mistake people make. So the mistake here is not at least trying Google Search Partners and also not turning off Google Display Network. I always turn off Google Display Networks, no exceptions, okay? If you're running a search campaign, you must turn off Google Display Network or else it's just going to eat away all of your extra budget that it can't find good keywords or it can't spend on keywords. And that's extremely important, okay? Because you're gonna lose a lot of money by running it on Google Display Network. So that you can see is always a 0 on my campaigns. Now down here you can see, again, this one cost me $52 per conversion, so I paused this one really early. Maybe not enough, well, obviously not enough testing there on this one. These ones I've tested, you know, $7,800 test on that, enough to say, well, maybe I ought to shut that down, okay? So oftentimes you will find profitable search partner campaigns, okay? So make sure you're not just eliminating it completely. You can always turn it off later. And some campaigns work better than others. Typically campaigns that are a more broad style of campaign, like weight loss or health related, often perform better on search partners. Believe it or not, I actually get cheaper cost per click, cheaper cost per click and sometimes lower cost per acquisition, okay? So the next thing we need to talk about is tracking conversions. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they do not track conversions. You can see I have conversion values tracked in here, also tracking conversions in this column. You can see here all of my conversions here in this column. Now, the key here is that in order to use automated bidding, you must be using conversion tracking, or else you can't play the game of Google Ads. And so that's where a lot of affiliates especially make the mistake. They get lazy, they try and direct link, and they try and use UTM tags, but you really do need a third tracker. The tool I use is CPVLab Pro. You can actually use the link down in the description there for CPVLab Pro, and you can try it out. This is integrated with Google Search Ads to send in the conversions, the conversion value, all of this stuff. It's an easy setup once you know how to do it, obviously. They have tons of demonstrations and they have a lot of documentation that you can read here, videos to set it up for you. I'm not going to go through all of that. Mind you, if this is of interest to you and you want to learn it step by step from me, then I would highly recommend checking out the other link down in the description for the Google Ads Masterclass, which is a much more detailed version of my Google Ads experience, talking about everything I've learned over the course of spending a lot of money on Google Ads. But anyway, this is the tool I'm using for sending in conversions from my affiliate network to Google Ads, okay? It's a connector between the two, and that's how you're going to be able to use the automated bidding for Google Ads. So the next biggest mistake, let's talk about this one. What you're going to see here are match types. There's a column in this campaign here for match type, and oftentimes people are missing out on opportunities by not trying broad match. Now, I know a lot of people out there like to start with phrase and exact, and this is good because it saves you money, saves you from spending on a whole bunch of poor placements. However, if you do have conversion data in your account, it can actually help you to try broad match. You can see these are running on broad match right now. This keyword spent $11,000, made $18,000 back. These are profitable. They're running on broad match. How do I do it? I'm doing it using good negative keywords. So negative keywords are part of a broad match strategy. So if you're using broad match, Google kind of just shows your ads to a whole bunch of stuff. But when you start watching it daily for the first, say, week, looking at keywords that are coming in that don't make sense to your company or your offer or your business, then you're going to add those as negative keywords. And over the course of, say, a week or two, you're going to probably eliminate a ton of junk traffic, where now broad match is going to start finding more relatable keywords because now they're going to have some conversion data. And over time, broad match actually comes together. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not also running campaigns on only phrase match or only exact match or whatever, a combination of phrase and exact. But the mistake here is to not at least try broad match, okay? Because you can find some opportunities that you might have missed before because Google's finding new keywords that you might not have ever thought to put into your campaign. When you find those, you're going to add them in. Now, there have been times when I'm running it broad match for, say, a week or two or 3 or 4, or even a month or two, and finally I decide to switch the whole thing to phrase match. When I do that, one mistake I should say, will be like number 6, we'll say, but this mistake would be to just come in here, select all your keywords and change them all right there to phrase match. You're not going to do that. You're going to duplicate them and add them as phrase match and then pause all of your broad match. This will keep and retain all of the data on these keywords so that if you want to go back and look at what happened in the past, you can look and see your broad match was better or not. Now, what you can also do is you can segment here based on match types. So when you're running broad match, you can actually come in here and you can segment your search terms right here by match type, and it's going to show you which version of that keyword is actually converting. So if I was to see that this keyword actually is converting all the time on phrase, then maybe I should just run it on phrase or exact. Okay, so that's another thing that you want to do. The last mistake a lot of people make is their landing page quality. Let's have a look over here at why these keywords are profitable, okay? So let's have a look first. You see this keyword spent 11,000, made 18,000. This one spent 10,000, made 14,000. And you can see the pattern here. They're all profitable keywords. Why? Well, it has a lot to do with quality score and your landing page experience, okay? Landing pages. We talk about this in detail inside the Google Ads Masterclass, okay? If you want access to it, click the link in the description. But basically, we're talking quality score. Look at these. 8, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. That is not by chance. That is intentional. Doing this on purpose so that we get those results from our keywords and our ads. We need to have good landing pages that sell the product. We need to know what the user's intent is on their search. When they click on that ad, are they going to a landing page that loads fast? Does it load on mobile? Does it sell them the product? And are they going through and buying and converting? That is what you need to see. When you come look at your keyword stats, you should be seeing above average, above average, above average, all of these things. That's going to drop your cost per click. It's going to mean that your campaign is converting. Google's going to be happy. They're going to give you more traffic. And that's how you scale your Google Ads affiliate campaigns, okay? If you want more details, check out the Google Ads Masterclass. I highly recommend it. You're going to get over 35 lessons from me talking about Google Ads, setting up Google campaigns, keyword research, match types, bid strategies, landing pages, examples, more details inside my Google Ads account. Get in there now. There's a link down in the description. Hopefully you liked that video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. We'll see you in the next one.